Sunken Temple might actually end up being the raid in Phase 3 of Season of Discovery. We have some data mined information to back this up. It is not just a claim or not just speculation at this point, it's based on kind of data mining and the small amount of evidence that we have. So, what is up guys, it's your boy Solheim here, back with another Classic WoW video for Season of Discovery. Today we're talking about a brand new upcoming raid in Phase 3, which is still probably about 2 months away, but it's still fun to speculate. And we have the first pieces of data mine info hinting at the brand new raid. For this, we're going to be talking about an article that I don't see enough people talking about. It is one made by Warcraft Tavern, and it is right here. So Warcraft Tavern, they made an article about this. It's talking about Dungeons and Dragons and data mining. Sunken Temple could be the next raid in Season of Discovery. And why, do you ask? Well, let's just take a look. We noticed something interesting in the most recent Classic era data mining. The Temple of Atalhakar dungeon, also known as the Sunken Temple, now has a 3-day lookout. In the data mining, going up from the regular dungeon lookout to a 3-day lookout, which fits right into, for example, BFD and Nomerigan as we have it right now, being on 3-day lookout timers, so changing the Temple of Atalhakar or Sunken Temple to a 3-day lookout. It also has a lock ID consistent with being the next raid in the game. BFD, Black Fathom Deeps, has a lock ID of 21, Nomerigan is 22, and Sunken Temple is now 23. The stars are aligning. This is a strong cue, or a strong clue, that the instance is being made into the level up raid for Phase 3 when we reach level 50. The dungeon's maximum player count has also been changed from 5 to 10, but it was also revealed yesterday that future raids in Season of Discovery will be 20 player size. Sunken Temple is a large instance with lots of trash and boss encounters. It is also involved in a unique level 50 quest for every class, so it will be interesting to see how the developers decide to work these class quests into the raid. And I have a theory on this. They could be scaling the class items up to being epic instead of just blue, and then making them probably even better. So that would mean every class gets a guaranteed very good upgrade from doing Sunken Temple by doing their class quest, which would be really fun to see how that works, a class quest in a raid. I would be very interested in that, and I hope they don't just copy and paste the current quest we have. I hope they make some change. That's just me though. That's me being hopeful. Lore-wise, this raid is an interesting choice following the Blood Moon event in Stranglethorn Vale in Phase 2. Hakar is in the Sandalari, Hakar is the Sandalari blood god, and the Sunken Temple was believed to be the place where he would be brought back to Azeroth. It was actually Sul'Gurub, which we'll see at level 60. The dungeon is full of Sandalari trolls and their minions, as well as members of the Green Dragonflight who seek to stop them, and anyone who enters the instance, from succeeding in summoning Hakar. So once again, it's the Temple of Atalhakar, the Sunken Temple. We're trying to summon the Blood God inside here, well, summoning Hakar in this case, so it would make a lot of sense lore-wise as well, going from the Blood event in the Stranglethorn Vale over to Sunken Temple in Phase 3. Just lore-wise, it all adds up as well. Now, with all of that said, we have the data mine stuff, like the 3-day lookout, we have the thing here as well, like the IDs, and we have the fact that the player count has been changed from 5 to 10. That being said, this has been changed to 20, so like, Sunken Temple will be, or like the Phase 3 raid will be a 20 player raid, Blizzard have already said this. That might have been, like, they might have made it 10 man, intentionally at the beginning, and then they're gonna scale it up to level 10, or like to 20 people instead of 10 man. So maybe the original intent was to have it be a 10-player raid, but because of all the discussion going on recently, they started to think maybe we should have a 20-player raid instead. So maybe the OG intent was to have 10-player raids all the way to level 60, and they are reverting on that right now. We just don't know, but all of these clues right here really adds up to Sunken Temple being the raid in Phase 3. Based on that, they have some information about the raid as well, which I think is kind of cool to talk about. The entrance to the Sunken Temple is in the Swamp of Sorrows, which is a contested zone. You will have to climb down through the ruins in the middle of the lake, the large lake in the east of the zone, and make your way through a maze of hallways to the instance portal. Horde have a flight path nearby at Stonard, but the Alliance will have to run through Deadwind Pass from Duskwood unless a portal is added. And like we had in, for example, BFD, I do think a portal would get added, so we'll have to wait and see. The lower level of the instance, the Pit of Refuse, is home to the first boss, Attalarian, who must be unlocked by completing a puzzle of sorts. The long circular hallway leads to 6 balconies that overlook the central pit, and each balcony has a snake statue. These statues must be clicked in the correct order to spawn the boss. To access them, you must fight your way through plenty of trash. The upper level of the Sunken Temple is in another large circular hallway, leading to 6 more balconies, but these balconies house a set of undead troll mini-bosses, which must be killed to proceed deeper into the dungeon. Now, in the raid, these could be actual boss fights. I wouldn't think they would be, but they could be. That could be interesting. Or even just like giving you some sort of loot. Like for example, we had the Grime encrusted objects from Normergan, but what if these bosses right here gave you something like some good stuff as well? Just not have them be only for the class quest. Make them worth killing. Killing the mini-bosses unlocks the Jamelan the Prophet, who can be reached by entering the Pit of Sacrifice in the middle of the instance. This area is full of large packs of green dragonkin, and you may remember Jamelan the Prophet as a boss with the ghost that randomly chase a player around the room, a source of much frustration in the old days of Vanilla and Classic WoW. Killing Jamelan will cause 2 green dragons to spawn back in the main room in the Pit of Sacrifice. These dragons are Weaver and Dream Scythe, and their knockback abilities are virtually guaranteed to cause at least one of your hapless teammates to fall through the hole in the center of the room. It will happen sooner or later. I really hope they have some sort of tribute to Goosey here if they do that, but hey, at least we have that clip, and we have the clip, and we also have the video by Hurricane from Goosey falling in the pit. Killing the 2 dragons will then spawn 2 more of them, Hassus and Morphus, in a nearby hallway. All 4 of these bosses share the exact same abilities in the OG dungeon, so we'll see if Blizzard decides to change things up to make it more interesting or challenging. Defeating all of those dragons again will then bring you to the Shade of Rannicus, who is the last boss who will pull every green dragon in the dungeon if they had not been cleared. In Vanilla, this is a challenging fight in which the boss will put the party member with the highest threat to sleep for 15 seconds at a time, and that sounds like the perfect opportunity for a tank swap in a raid. Okay. This boss drops an epic sword, the Dragon's Call, and we look forward to seeing what a raid version of this item may look like. So, one-handed sword. I think they could do some really interesting stuff here. Thunder Fury Light. Have it be like a Thunder Fury, but not actual Thunder Fury. It's a one-handed sword, Dragon's Call, could be interesting. The final boss is in the dungeon is the Avatar of Hakar. Is that the final boss? Because we always kill Shade last. Who can only be summoned by a player who has completed the appropriate quests. The OG dungeon version of this fight is difficult, with the boss afflicting players with a number of debuffs that slows attack speed, movement, and casting speed. Adds must be looted over the course of the fight in order to extinguish the 4 bracers around the room. The rewards include some powerful items for the level range, which are likely to be even more powerful in a new raid. We have these boots, a lot of stamina, but not that much strength or agility really. We have an epic chest that can drop as well. I would assume this would be reworked and give a bunch of spell power or even healing power. I think, actually this could be a healer chest. It has a bunch of spirit. Probably going to be a healer chest. We have the Featherkin Drape, Might of Hakar, Spire of Hakar, Warrior's Embrace, and Windscale Sarung. Now, for the fun part, the Sunken Temple in Season of Discovery. Assuming the Temple of Talakar is the next raid for Season of Discovery, we can probably expect another epic crafting questline, as well as another item to turn in for a world buff. Now, what could be cool here is if the Essence of Iranicus, which I think at the moment can be looted by everyone in the party, becomes only one person can loot, and it gives you an epic trinket. Because right now, everyone can loot this, and you get the Chained Essence of Iranicus, which is a trinket. It's really bad, but you can hand it in as well to get like another trinket for a little bit of AoE splash. It's still a bad trinket, but it's still a trinket as well. But if they could give us an epic version of this, and only one person in the raid can loot that, and when they hand it in, it pops a world buff, and they get an epic trinket. Because so far in the BFD we had an epic trinket, in Nomer we have epic necklace. I think it's time to go back to epic trinket again. So Chained Essence of Iranicus could be huge. Now, including all of the other things we have talked about, this raid or this dungeon does have some incredible loot that I can see being scaled up and tuned up to the perfect raid loot. We have this one, like a male head with intellect and spirit, which is basically for, well, holy paladins. We have another necklace, we have a wand, this one could give you more spell power. We have a shield, which gives you actually block, strength, agility, and a bunch of stats. Yo, can you go away, cat? Come on, bro. Then we have the Tooth of Aranicus giving you a hit percentage, and it's a main hand with strength, and we have a dagger as well, and that is only from the shade. We also have the same loot from all of the dragons, as you can see, and they give you a one-handed sword, two-handed sword, a pole arm, and even this one right here, like a ring with random enchantments. And we have, once again, a bunch of good stuff. We have the waist, this one right here with intellect and spirit, and I can see them reworking a lot of this loot to make it even better in Season of Discovery, giving you more attack power, more hit percentage, more crit percentage, and more spell power, healing power, and so on. The thing is, there's so many bosses in this raid, or in the dungeon, that it does make a lot of sense to turn this into the next raid. Plus, we, once again, reverting back to the article, we have the thing about Atalakar, Sunken Temple, going on a 3-day lockout. It fits the raid ID with the dungeon ID of BFD and Nomer. Everything is aligning, bro, but let me know in the comments down below what you think. What will be the next raid in Phase 3? Do you have any thoughts on this after reading the article? Do you think it's going to be Sunken Temple? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, I really do appreciate you watching the video. On a totally unrelated note, if you are struggling to make gold or you want to make more gold in Season of Discovery, I do have a gold making guide made for Classic WoW with a Season of Discovery update. So it went from being 134 pages to now being 157 with the Phase 2 update for Season of Discovery. In addition to that, you get early access to a bunch of gold making videos, pretty much every single one you will have access to before they go public. Even now, we have 2 of the best farms I have seen so far in Phase 2 that will not go public for quite some time. So if you want to have access to them before they go public, definitely get the guide. It's a good way to support me, and I think I'll be able to help you make more gold as well. It's a win-win scenario. With that being said, once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon. Peace out.